What's going on, people? Today I want to talk to you all about the Tomb Raider series. This is a game series that's very, very nostalgic to me, something that I have some pretty strong feelings towards. I remember playing the first one many years ago, and watching the series evolve over time has been really exciting for me. So, flashback to 1996 when the first Tomb Raider came out. I had rented it with my cousin, and it was sometime over the summer. I believe I spent a weekend over his house, and I remember thinking, going through the game, staying up all night. Wow, this is just an amazing game. I never really seen anything quite as deep. The puzzles were challenging, and getting through the game, you really had to use your head. It wasn't an easy game. It was very tough. And part of the reason why it was tough is because the controls were pretty crappy. I'm not gonna lie. I remember just missing a lot of jumps and a lot of frustration. It wasn't very easy to control Lara back in the day. But by the time we were finished with the first Tomb Raider, man, it was like a science to us. We knew how to do like the handstand and the swan dive, and we had memorized all the controls, and we got really good at it. We knew, 3 steps backwards was just enough to get a running jump so you could reach a ledge, and 1 hop backwards was considered 3 steps. All of this stuff, I still remember all these years later that they just kind of got pounded into my head because of how difficult the game was. It was very punishing, and the controls were, looking back on them, they were pretty awful. So we spent all weekend playing this game, staying up very late. I remember, I think one of the nights we didn't even go to sleep. We just stayed up and just kept playing the game. And we thought we had gotten pretty far by the time I had to go home, but we hadn't really gotten that far because later on I ended up buying the game. We had returned it, and we got to that the Greece level where you have to go down through what was it? You had to go through these different doors, and there was like these platforms, and you had to unlock each one. It was just like I'll probably have a picture up for you guys to look at, but you had to make your way down and go through all these different doors, and there were different challenges in each one. And after that, I went out and bought the game because we had to return it, obviously. I played through the rest of it by myself, and when I talked with him next, I told him we weren't like not even halfway through. I don't think we were even halfway through the game yet. We figured we were pretty much towards the end by the time we got there because it took us so long just to get to that point. There was a lot of trial and error going on. But no, there was still a considerable amount of the game left to go through. And then in 1997, Tomb Raider 2 was released. I remember getting this one for Christmas, and I remember it was one of those games where I saw the commercials on TV. It makes me feel old. I don't think kids even watch TV anymore. But going way back, I remember seeing the commercials and getting really excited because, they were showing snowmobile and underwater and stuff that we just didn't see in the original. And one of the things that really stood out to me from Tomb Raider 2 was the underwater parts that they had in the game. It was pretty creepy. I'm trying to get away from the shark. They added the spear gun. They added an M16 rifle to the arsenal. You also got a grenade launcher. They had increased the lighting to make the lighting look better. We had snowmobiles, obviously, as I mentioned before, with the whole Tibet level. And we also had boats that we could go through. I believe most notably in Venice. I can't remember if there was a motorboat section in another area. But what I really remember from that game is the underwater levels and just being terrified of the shark. And I have to say, looking back on it, Tomb Raider 2 was probably the most fun I had with the series. It just felt like it had everything that a sequel should have. It just took the original game and it improved upon it pretty much in every way. And a year later, Tomb Raider 3 came out. So we're starting to see a bit of a pattern here. We're starting to see that these are annual releases. Tomb Raider 3 for me just, for some reason, it doesn't really stand out too much in my memory. I don't think it was one of my favorite ones. It's been a while since I played it. I do remember it seemed to have more of a modern setting. There wasn't as much spelunking through tombs, if you will. I remember Area 51 being something that I enjoyed. I actually didn't end up getting this game. I can't remember what I ended up getting that year for Christmas, but it wasn't Tomb Raider 3. I remember my cousin coming over with it and playing it. I did play it through to completion because I had borrowed it from him, so I did beat it. But sadly, at that point, I started to get into different games, and my interest in the series was definitely starting to wane. And sadly, when Tomb Raider Revelation came out, I did pick that up, but I lost interest. I think probably about halfway through that game, I just stopped playing it. For one reason or another, I don't remember. It's been years. 1999 was a long time ago. So I had lost interest in it. Never went through and beat that. I might actually have to do that. Go back and play it. But it's a little tough because those games haven't aged too well. Like I said, the control scheme was kind of meh. But that was the last game that I got during the first era of Tomb Raider, if you will, during the PlayStation 1 era. After that, I got Angel of Darkness on PS2, and many of you are probably already aware that the game was just a total pile of shit, in my opinion. Some people probably liked it. I did not like it at all. I didn't care for pretty much any of it. It was really, really buggy. I remember having trouble getting stuck on things, and it just... I hated that game. I fucking hated that game. And I know they had wanted to continue the story. They wanted to have like 3 of them, I believe. They wanted to have Angel of Darkness and then tie it into another game and then another game. And I'm pretty sure that didn't end up happening. I'm pretty sure they just scrapped everything. Now, I should mention that Tomb Raider Chronicles was a thing that happened after Tomb Raider Revelations, and I did not play it. It was a sequel to Revelations. Didn't play it, didn't care to play it. To me, it just felt like they were cranking them out way too fast to the point where, like I said, I had lost interest in the series. So when they reinvented it, I was happy about it. I know there's some people that didn't like the fact that they reinvented this series, but I was definitely happy about it, and that's when I hopped back on board with the Tomb Raider franchise. Tomb Raider Legend is that game that in my opinion, it brought the series back from the depths of a very dark and not so good place, and I really enjoyed that game. To be honest, I haven't played it in years, so I don't remember too much about it. All I know is that the controls were just way, way better. Had a lot of fun with it. Tomb Raider Anniversary was pretty much a remake of the original Tomb Raider. Loved that game. Played that through to completion, and I absolutely love it because it's obviously the nostalgia. It just it took what the original did and it modernized it, gave it better visuals, better controls, better everything. As you can probably tell, I'm not one of those purists who's like, oh no, the original was far superior. The controls did not age well, guys. In my opinion, they just did not age well. So when they added a new control scheme, I was very happy about that. Underworld, I have not played yet. I do plan on going through and playing that. I heard it was pretty good. I know there's some swimming and some sharks, so that kind of plays off of the Tomb Raider 2 nostalgia that I've got going on. Guardian of Light, don't really have too much to say about that. It was a spin-off title that kind of played like Diablo a little bit, but more of like a co-op style game where you had to work together. They had a sequel for that called Temple of Osiris, but I'm not going to get into the side story stuff. Not too much interest in that. But the reboot, the most recent reboot, the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot, was absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. And I have seen purists knocking it, saying, oh, it's nothing like the original. It's all action now, and the puzzles there's like non-existent with the puzzles and blah blah blah. I don't feel that way at all. I'm not a purist. Some games I am and some I'm not. This to me felt like exactly what the Tomb Raider series needed, and it was just an absolutely phenomenal game. I just picked it up on Steam. I had played it on Xbox 360 when it first came out. I got it on Steam, and it looks really good. I mean, just graphically, the game looks amazing, plays really well. I have nothing but good things to say about that game. If I had to review that game and do a review for it and put a score on it, I would give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. It told Lara's story from a different sort of perspective. I mean, it was a reboot, so things were pretty different. You know, this is a much more vulnerable Lara Croft, something that we'd never seen before. It feels more personal, more of a humane type story, you know. You get to know more about her, and it's just, I have nothing but good things to say about that game. So, with that having been said, that brings us to the game coming out very soon, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And this is a game that, again, I'm excited for this. I mean, I feel like the series really needed to be taken in this direction. I think that it was very intelligent for them to reinvent it the way that they did. A lot of care was put into it, and this game looks amazing. But I'm being told there's microtransactions. Everybody's complaining about this, which is just it's not acceptable in a game that you pay fucking full price for. We should not be seeing microtransactions. So that sucks. You know, do I still want the game? Yes. Am I still going to get it? Yes. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely going to get the game on Steam as soon as it comes out. I believe it's coming out to Xbox One first, and then later it'll be put on PC and then over to PS4. And that's another thing that kind of irked me. They just kind of sold out on their PlayStation audience, which, I mean, PlayStation pretty much built Tomb Raider, right? I mean, the fans of PlayStation are being kind of slapped in the face here. Microsoft got that exclusivity, whatever you want to call it, the timed exclusive rights for it, and it's just one of those ugly things, that you see because of competition and whatnot. It sucks. Everybody should be able to play that game day one. It shouldn't be exclusive on any one console. I hate exclusives, I really do. They don't do any favors to anybody except for the people who are lining their fucking pockets with our money. But anyway, I don't want to get on too much of a rant here. The game looks amazing, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So there you have it, guys. Just a little bit of a retrospective on the Tomb Raider series and going a little bit into where we are now and into the future. Let me know in the comments section which Tomb Raider game is your favorite and why. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next one.